Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 4th of May. India moving towards women-led development, says Indian Prime Minister Modi. Afghan President Ghani rolls out electronic ID cards despite opposition. And preparations underway in Nepal ahead of Indian Prime Minister Modi's visit. And now for all the details. After Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi hit the campaign trail for his Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP in Karnataka earlier this week, he reached out to women in the poll-bound province on Friday. Interacting with his BJP's women workers, he said India is moving from women's development to women-led development, and this is what his party strongly believes in.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday said that India is moving from women's development to women-led development, and this is what his Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP strongly believes in. Interacting with BJP's women workers in poll-bound Karnataka province via the Narendra Modi app, he highlighted the initiatives taken by his government for women's empowerment. Claiming that it has always been their effort to give equal opportunity to women, the Prime Minister said able women have been given important portfolios in our cabinet.
आज हम महिला विकास से आगे महिला के नेतृत्व में विकास की बात कर रहे हैं। जब देश के विकास के लिए हमारा ऐसा मंत्र है, तो हमारी पार्टी भी इसी मंत्र में विश्वास रखती है।
The Prime Minister is himself leading the poll campaign to ensure that his party returns to power in the southern province. Karnataka is important to the BJP because it will be its gateway to the south, which is vital to its poll calculations for the general election in 2019. Opposition Congress has also stepped up the campaign in the province, one of the three provinces where the party is still in power.
In news from Pakistan, the National Accountability Bureau or NAB's investigation officer in the Evanfield properties case against Pakistan's ousted Premier Nawaz Sharif and his family informed the court on Friday that the Bureau filed the reference on the basis of material gathered by the Supreme Court appointed Panama case joint investigation team. During Friday's hearing, Sharif's counsel completed cross-examination of investigation officer Imran Dogar, the last prosecution witness in the Evanfield properties reference. An accountability court has been hearing a total of 3 corruption references against Sharif and his family for owning assets beyond known sources of income. The next hearing in the case is scheduled to be held on May 7. In news from Afghanistan, Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani launched new electronic ID cards on Thursday and faced immediate opposition in his own government towards the system that has fueled bitter rows over ethnic politics only months before parliamentary elections are due.
Afghan President Ashraf Ghani on Thursday launched new electronic I-cards and faced immediate opposition in his own government towards a system that has fueled bitter rows over ethnic politics only months before parliamentary elections are due. The much-delayed electronic identity cards intend to reduce fraud, streamline public administration and give a clearer picture of the population by centralizing data on one digitalized card. Ghani, after receiving the first card to be issued, said it will help security in the country and that the traditional I-card could easily be faked, challenging security.
از این جهت مهمترین فیصله برای ما امنیت مردم افغانستان است که ما بتانیم بفهمیم که کی افغان است بایومتریک از این به صورت واضح در تمام اسناد ثابت ساخته میتونه که کیست از کجاست سابقه از این چیز و این ضرورت عزیز که ما بتانیم.
Shortly after Ghani's move, his partner in government, Chief Executive Abdullah rejected the new cards. Abdullah's Jamaat party mainly represents ethnic Tajiks from northern Afghanistan.
وقتی درباره تذکره برقی همه‌قدر بحث سراسری وجود داشت در جامعه، در پارلمان، در جامعه مدنی، در احزاب، در همه اینها معنایش است که تفاوت نظر وجود داره و این باعث اختلاف میشه. مشکل را حل نمیکنه، مشکل را اضافه میکنه.
The inclusion of a national identity denomination that is rejected by some groups in Afghanistan has laid bare the persistent ethnic division that has widened sharply over the past years. The new system has been the subject of furious argument because it designated a holder's nationality as Afghan, a term used in the past to denote Pashtuns, traditionally the most politically powerful ethnic group.
More on news from Afghanistan. Relatives of media workers who died in Monday's blast while attending a commemoration ceremony on Thursday claimed government has failed to safeguard the people and urged the authorities to improve security in the country. The ceremony was also attended by high-ranking government officials.
Afghan government officials and media workers on Thursday attended a commemoration ceremony for the 9 journalists who lost their lives in Monday's deadly bombing that took place in capital Kabul city. The killed journalist and cameraman had converged at the scene of an early explosion where a suicide bomber detonated his explosives. Relatives of the slain journalist said government has failed to ensure people's safety and demanded that security should be improved.
The
2 explosions hit Kabul during morning rush hour on Monday, killing more than 28 persons, out of which 9 were journalists. Militant group Islamic State claimed responsibility for the bombings.
Moving on to news from Nepal. Preparations are in full swing in Nepal's historical and ancient city of Janakpur to welcome Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi later this month. The Janakpur Dham, which is the foundation of the religious beliefs between Nepal and India, will be hosting the felicitation ceremony in honor of the Indian Prime Minister during his 2-day visit.
Nepal's historical and ancient city of Janakpur has revamped the preparations to welcome Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi later this month. The Chief Minister and political leaders on Province 2 on Thursday came onto streets, sweeping and cleaning the streets ahead of the 2-day visit scheduled for 11th to 12th of May. Prime Minister Modi will fly to Janakpur, from where he will start his 2-day visit of Nepal. He is scheduled to first head to Muktinath Temple in Mustan district and perform prayers there. Indian envoy to Nepal, Manjeev Singh Puri, also toured the area and reviewed the preparations. Thousands of people from all 8 districts of the province are expected to gather at the Barhapika ground, where a felicitation ceremony will be held to honor Modi. The Indian Prime Minister's casual visit comes after Nepal's Premier KP Sharma Oli visited India last month in an effort to enhance bilateral ties between the 2 nations.
An engineer in Srinagar, city of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province, has opened a first ever indoor cricket academy to groom budding cricketers in his area. While local youth in Srinagar have already started enjoying the facility, the academy now aims to attract youth from across the province.
A local in Srinagar, city of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province, has opened a first ever indoor cricket academy to groom budding cricketers in his area. Irfan Bukhari, an engineer by profession, has initiated the academy with his friends, as he himself used to play cricket in his childhood and wanted to do something for the youth of the valley. The budding cricketers are enjoying the facility provided to them, as they can now practice the game irrespective of the weather conditions.
इन क्रिकेट के साथ लगाव और पैशन जो था वो बचपन से ही था, तो फिर हमारे फ्रेंड्स थे कुछ जिन्होंने हमको सपोर्ट किया यहाँ पे, तो एक आइडिया था कि हम बच्चों के लिए एक एकेडमी स्टार्ट करें।
एक अलग सी फीलिंग पैदा हो गई कि मुझे क्रिकेट बहुत अच्छा लगता है। यहाँ पर मेरे फ्रेंड्स हैं, मेरे रिलेटिव्स हैं, कज़न्स हैं, हम एक साथ खेलते हैं, एक साथ सीखते हैं, इसलिए बहुत अच्छा लगता है।
Bukhari, with his indoor academy, wants to encourage the youth to play cricket throughout the year, as during winters they stop playing the sport due to wet grounds. After Srinagar city, the academy now aims to provide opportunity to the aspiring and talented cricketers across the Kashmir Valley.
Tibetan spiritual leader Dalai Lama interacted with Russian scientists and Buddhist scholars in India's northern hill town of Dharamshala on Thursday. The dialogue aimed at bringing together science and spirituality.
Exiled Tibetan spiritual leader Dalai Lama interacted with Russian scientists and Buddhist scholars in India's northern hill town of Dharamshala on Thursday. Over 100 people gathered at the main Buddhist temple in the town for the interaction. The event was organized by Save Tibet Foundation, Center of Tibetan Culture and Information.
We find it very important because we feel that there's a lot in Buddhism that science can complement, and also as well in the field of science that Buddhism can also complement. So in order to find that complement between the two different traditions or sciences, it is important to have this dialogue, to exchange ideas, to exchange views, make contacts, and collaborate in further studies and research.
The dialogue aimed at bringing together science and spirituality. Thursday's interaction saw a meeting between Buddhist monks and scientists.
I think for Russian scientists, for the Russian science, it's quite important to understand the Buddhist approach. Right now, the dialogue held between His Holiness and the scientists, I think is quite productive.
Dalai Lama, who won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989, fled into exile in India in 1959 after an abortive uprising against Chinese rule. He has since lived mostly in Dharamshala in the northern province of Himachal Pradesh.
An octogenarian woman has become a source of inspiration for locals in Udhampur district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir by undertaking the task of constructing toilets to promote hygiene and make her village open defecation free.
An 87-year-old woman in Udhampur district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir has become a source of inspiration for the locals by undertaking the task of constructing toilets in the area to promote hygiene and make her village open defecation free. Inspired by the district administration's open defecation mission, Rakhi is herself engaged in the task with minimal help and doesn't let lack of finance get in her way and uses mud for cementing the bricks together. Rakhi's dedication to the mission without any special skills or tool has also inspired the local residents who have appreciated her initiative and have joined hands in the mission to make the village open defecation free.
वृद्ध महिला है जो अपना काम बाथरूम का कर रही है और हमने जो उनसे बातें की लोगों से, तो लोगों के समझ में आया कि ये कितना ज़रूरी है कि बाथरूम को बनाना घर के लिए, एक शौचालय की कितनी ज़्यादा महत्व है। तो इसको लेकर लोगों में बड़ी जागरूकता फैली है और लोग खुद इसमें अपने आप को शामिल कर रहे हैं और इस अभियान का पार्ट बने हुए हैं, चाहे बच्चे हों, चाहे बड़े बूढ़े हों, चाहे जवान हों, सभी लोग मिलकर अपनी मेहनत से इसमें शौचालयों का निर्माण कर रहे हैं।
इस बात से बनाया है कि अपने बच्चे अपने बाथरूम जान के बाहर की तरफ नहीं जाना, कोई सियाना बंदा भी नहीं जाएगा, बच्चे भी नहीं जाएंगे, ठीक है, इस बात से बनाया।
Open defecation is one of the major problems related to hygiene in India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has prioritized sanitation since coming to power in 2014 and aims to provide toilets for all and end open defecation in the country by 2019. But the task is mammoth.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. India moving towards women-led development, says Indian Prime Minister Modi. Afghan President Ghani rolls out electronic ID cards despite opposition. And preparations underway in Nepal ahead of Indian Prime Minister Modi's visit. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.